I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Hey everybody, welcome to Oops the Podcast. I am Julio. I'm sitting next to, as you might have guessed, old Francis.
Yep.
Good old Francis.
I'm here. I'm ready.
How you doing, bro?
Pissed off, man.
What's up?
I don't know. I just feel
You're just
pissed off.
Well, dude, I'm pissed off for a specific reason. Would you like to hear it?
Yes, please.
I came home. I'd visited Hillary's family, and when I got home, there was scaffolding up outside of my apartment windows on both sides of the apartment. Scaffolding. I asked how long it's going to be up for, and they said probably about a year, which could literally end up meaning 2 years, which would probably be how long we end up staying in that apartment.
Wow.
How fucked is that? Dude, like bad scaffolding too. Like the scaffolding that has a net on the outside of it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
not only is it like a prison cell, but there's also netting on the outside.
It just instantly your natural light is down
It's just
30 or 40%.
And the view is just completely ruined and obstructed. I mean, I can still see through, but like it sucks ass. Not to mention they're going to be working. I'm just sitting there eating lunch. There's just a guy right next to me. Like all these things that suck. And I'm having trouble with a few things. So first of all, this is a lesson to anybody renting an apartment. If you buy an apartment, there's nothing you can do if they're doing scaffolding. Like if you're living there for 5 years, like at some point they're going to have to fix the facade, you know?
Yeah.
But as far as rentals go, I think it's a valuable question to ask. Are you planning to do any facade repairs in the next year or two? Because that would have changed my decision.
I think that's totally a fair question.
And I'm so there's a balancing act that I'm trying to deal with here, which is I want to be able to bitch about this because it fucking sucks, but I don't want to bum out my girlfriend.
So do it away from her.
So it's hard. When it first went up, I was like, this is devastating.
Should make secretive angry phone calls to the landlord.
So the landlord, though, is the guy who owns the building. Or sorry, not owns the building. He owns the apartment. Like, there's nothing real. There's no one to bitch to about this, really.
You can't get in touch with someone that you can complain to away from your girlfriend?
No, of course. No. Of course, there's someone else that I can bitch about this to. But, like, it's our apartment. Like, why should I not bitch to her about it? Like, the fact that she doesn't even care is incredible. Like,
yeah, but you've already said why you shouldn't bitch to her about it.
Totally.
You don't want to sour it in her mind.
I don't want to sour it for her. I don't want her to think that I now am unhappy in our apartment that we were so excited about.
Put so much work into
that
decorating
too, making
the
it
place,
beautiful.
And also
she's done a great job.
Might not even be affected whatsoever by the scaffolding.
Right, which is
your cross to bear.
Hard to believe. I think that she wants to kind of be
hard to believe.
It's one of those situations, like, you know, when your parents like agree that something sucks, but they want you to not think it sucks.
My parents never did that.
Well,
they were basically like, this is what's wrong and here's why we're leaving.
Well, okay, say you're stuck with a shitty situation, which appears that I am.
Yeah.
And, you know, do I want to move? Because there's no. You know what I mean? It just sucks. And I think that she would agree that it sucks. Like when we start hearing hammering and our heads are shaking, like we're both going to hate that. The same way we hate it when those little girls are bounding around above us at 7 o'clock in the morning, heel running.
Right.
It's unmistakable that that's terrible.
Yes.
But, you know, at the same token, I don't want to be a bummer. So I'm going to try to either try to get over it or try to stop bitching about it to her specifically. But I had to tell you because I haven't yet. And it fucking sucks.
You don't think she'll listen to the podcast?
She will. Of course she will. But
Does she listen to every episode?
I think she listens when I'm like gone. Isn't that sweet?
I don't know why. Oh, because she missed to fill the void?
I'm sure it's not as much like that as I'm making it sound. She's probably going to get mad at me for that. And maybe she won't. Whatever. But she has said, she's like, so I listen sometimes when you're gone. And I've heard her tell other people that. So I'm not like airing her out. It's not like a secret.
Yeah.
But I think that's sweet. But I do expect that she'll listen to this, but I can't just pretend that this isn't happening.
Uh-huh.
I have to complain about it.
Yeah. Well, then you've outed it.
Yes. And
cat's out of the bag.
And she will jokingly bring it up in conversation when we're with other people. She'll be like, Julio, is I'm trying to like talk Julio down from the ledge.
So she
about-
knows.
Yes, yeah. I've told her this already, but I'm trying to not overdo it
I see.
and act like,
That's noble of you, by the way.
I'm not doing a good job yet.
You're restraining yourself for the sake of someone else.
Dude, I don't deserve that yet. I don't deserve that. I'm gonna stop bitching about it over the next couple of weeks, at which point I will deserve it. But I have made it fully clear.
You haven't bitched yourself out yet. You haven't tired yourself out.
Not fully.
Okay.
But I'm going to try to make the best of it. She's taking on a good approach, which is it's not that big of a deal, which that's insane, but okay. I'll try my best to be fine with that. It of course does not affect the fact that we love our apartment still. I still love my apartment. I love being there with her.
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't change that, but it sucks.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think you'll adjust. There's nothing you can do.
There's nothing you can do.
There's nothing you can do. Will there be men on the scaffolding
There are
looking in your windows?
They are probably been instructed to not be nosy, but they're sitting right directly outside of the window.
Eating lunch out of lunch pails?
Whatever it is that
wearing
they're
hard
doing.
hats?
Whatever, yes.
Like that famous picture of the men on the high
Yes.
beam?
Essentially, the modern version of that.
That's who's looking into your window?
Dude, there's stairs directly outside of my window. I can see the stairs. There are men sitting next to me.
Do they go all the way down to the ground to go to the bathroom, or is there a porta potty on the roof for them?
It's a great question. I don't know. I don't know if I want to know the answer.
Because sometimes, I would imagine, I don't mean to generalize, but some of those guys probably don't eat the most healthy lunches. I've seen some of the stuff they eat. And I would imagine that every once in a while, there will be a guy up on a high floor polishing off a gargoyle's toenails or something. And he'll feel it come over him and have to sprint down the stairs of the scaffolding, which are precarious.
Right.
Like it's that opening scene from Casino Royale.
That's
parkouring their
a
way
great opening scene
across
to the banyo.
a construction site. And
Am I supposed to just let them in the window to go to the bathroom?
well, what if someone did? Can you imagine
the
if they
window?
knocked on the window? Hey, can I use your bathroom?
I'm pretty sure that has to not be allowed. But I don't know. I would say no.
So then what's the alternative? Might they sky dump it?
I would start pointing to the ground.
Get
I'd be like,
down.
"You get down.
Get down there. There's a porta potty down there.
Dude, it's a great question. But it's not our building's like 20 floors, 21 floors. It can't take them that long to get down to go to the bathroom. I imagine they'll be able to hold it despite what they're eating.
21 floors, man. No joke. That's no joke.
No joke. You're right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, good luck with that. Boy,
Thank
that's tricky.
that is tricky. I don't know. Whatever. Dude, so I have a question for you.
Good.
So I was in Chicago, staying with Hill and her family.
Yeah.
And a couple things happened. So first of all, we made the reservation together. Like I put her on my reservation. So I guess when you do that, you both get upgrades. If you're going to get, she can get upgraded even if she wouldn't normally qualify for an upgrade.
Oh, cool.
So we both got upgraded, which is great.
Never happened to me.
Really?
We've talked about this, and I just don't understand
Well,
who is pulling the strings for you.
I can tell you why. You don't have an airline credit card. That's probably
That's
why.
all it takes?
Well, because I spend all my money on my airline credit card and I fly a decent amount, so I have status. So because of that, I get upgraded.
All right.
That's why. And that's literally why.
Okay.
So anyway.
Which one do you have? Delta?
Delta, yeah.
Is that a good one?
I would argue yes. I mean, it's the best of the generic American Airlines, not including American Airlines. Delta's the best. It's way better than United. It's way better than American. And those are the three places that fly to a bunch of different places.
Okay.
So to me, Delta is the superior
Okay.
one of all of those.
All right.
Not even to mention the fact that during the pandemic, they were by far the best airline to fly. And I'm not going to forget that. I appreciated their commitment.
Okay. Interesting.
So shout out Delta for rocking it. But so we both got upgraded. But I was wondering, in a situation where we all both booked our own flights and I get upgraded, and I think we've maybe briefly talked about this once in way down the road of episodes.
Who gets it?
Who gets the upgrade? Am I expected to offer her my upgrade?
Do you have the upgrade on both flights, like the return and the?
I don't think.
You only know if
automatically.
you have it for the first one.
I believe so. I think you only know if it's a round trip or whatever. You only know if you have it for the first one. I believe.
Well, you got to offer it to her, and then it's on her to decide whether or not she accepts or gives it to you.
And also it sucks. It's like, fuck, like now we just can't sit together.
One of you should accept it.
Of course, you have to.
It's not worth
Yes.
maintaining your sitting together, because typically if you're sitting together, one of you is in a middle seat.
That's true.
And
Which sucks.
that it's better for you both to, one of you should accept the upgrade.
And dude, she doesn't even mind the middle seat. I'm just, and this is true, but she is pretty easygoing, dude. Doesn't care about scaffolding, doesn't care about the middle seat. She's a fucking winner. The trophy goes out to old Hill Dog.
Well, okay, but hold on a second. Let me ask you this. I'm gonna give you another example. All right, so when I'm getting into a car with a group of people,
Mhm.
I've always been tall. Typically, someone says, "Fran, you sit in the front."
Right.
And then I say, don't worry about it. No, I'm fine in the back. And then they say, "Get out of here. You've got long legs." That's what they always say.
And you say, all right, because it's true.
To the point where if they don't tell me how long my legs are, I actually kind of get a little
You expect that
like,
to be the next
why
step.
didn't you comment on my legs?
In this process that has been established.
Let me know how long my legs are.
Please complete step 3, which is letting him know how long his
Compare
legs
me
are.
to a daddy long leg spider. Talk about my legs.
Talk about his legs.
So,
Fucking legs.
usually that's what happens. And I hate to say this, but I'm at the point now where, in the rare occasions where it's not offered to me, and I look around and everyone in the car, especially, the person sitting in the front is significantly shorter than I am.
That sucks.
I think, who do you think you are?
Yeah, no, totally.
Who do you think you are?
Totally. So are you equating this to the fact that the similar thing is similar for you and coach of a plane? That like you are, honestly, I think that I am the cutoff height where it's like acceptable. Like you are potentially tall enough that you would deserve that upgrade because of your size.
That's kind of what I'm saying. I don't think I deserve the upgrade. I think that with my girlfriend flying, and let's say I got upgrade, the better legroom seat is almost wasted on her.
Agreed. And especially if it's
like,
your upgrade.
Yeah,
if it's her upgrade, take the upgrade.
Don't give it to me. Yeah,
Take it.
Absolutely.
But if it's your upgrade, maybe you take it.
If it's my upgrade, the 8-inch height difference, 7-inch height, whatever we have, warrants me getting it.
Yeah.
And if not, if I feel like really pushing to give her that nice thing, that's really sweet. And she can accept that, that's fine. But I think from a practical standpoint, the height difference, whoever the bigger person is should have the bigger seat.
Right. Okay. That's interesting.
Do you disagree?
No, I definitely agree. But I think the way that we broke it down makes sense. Like if it's my upgrade, but again, I don't think that like it's that crazy for me to be sitting in coach. I do agree in general,
I don't
especially
either.
with what you were saying, as far as like, if it's my upgrade and I'm going to be so much more comfortable in first class, whereas she will be less uncomfortable than I would have been sitting in coach, maybe it makes sense for me to continue to take it or something. I don't know.
Right.
But because one time I think I got an upgrade and she didn't. And I just think I straight up didn't offer it to her. And she was like, "Are you really not going to offer?" She's like, "I would have declined, but it's hilarious that you didn't offer." And like, it became this joke. So I'm more aware of it now, and it hasn't happened again. I casually throw that in at the end of the conversation. I'm really just not painting a nice picture of myself this episode.
It's all right. We all know who you really are. I love it, dude.
Dude, something really funny happened on this flight, and I want to tell you about it. So when we landed, and we're like about to be at the gate, the flight attendant gives his like final salute to us, you know, and I wrote it down pretty much exactly what happened. And there's one very unusual part of what he said. And I think you'll very quickly pick up on it, but here we go. He's like, "Please wait for the captain to turn off the seatbelt sign before removing your luggage from the overhead bins. The weather on the ground is 72 degrees and sunny. From our LaGuardia-based crew, we welcome you to Chicago. You have a nice day, okay?" Dude, what the fuck was the okay? I've never ever heard that in my
like
life.
that.
You have a nice day, okay? You just say, have a nice day. You don't say like a rhetorical,
Oh, it's good though. It's a good signature thing.
you have a nice day, okay?
I bet you that is that guy's signature thing. For sure.
They're like, Pete, take us out.
Yeah. Yeah, hit him with the okay.
So, dude, no one said anything. And then I mentioned it in the car, and Hillary's sister was like, I thought I was the only one who noticed that. She's like, that was insane. And I don't know that Hillary did thought that as well, but.
I don't know if I had anything interesting happen on my flights.
Fucking flights, dude.
I know. No, I didn't. One thing I've noticed, this is a troubling thing. I brought my new headphones, which are wireless, on the
Nice.
JetBlue flight to LA. And sure enough, the TVs require a headphone
they
jack.
require. Dude, an OG move, you got to bring
You gotta
a jack
bring-
pair with you for that.
Planes have not kept up with the technology.
Yeah, you can't Bluetooth that live stream TV.
That is frustrating.
And shout out to
man.
JetBlue for having live TV.
Yeah,
That's clutch.
they were the first ones to do it.
Watch some fucking.
So I just watched the silent basketball game, the NBA final game on the way out there.
Oh shit.
All right.
Well, dude, I have a question for you. So this is like a very random thought, but I want to break it down and see what you think. You know how people will abbreviate their names? If their name is like Andrew John, they'll go by AJ.
Yeah.
So it's funny that most of the alphabet accounts for that in some capacity. If you think about it, AJ, BJ, CJ, DJ, EJ, all names that people use. And then the ones that aren't used have been adopted by other things a lot of the time.
HJ.
FJ is
Hand job.
Yes, FJ is a Toyota. So we'll go through it. GJ, the beginning of an Albanian last name. That one's a bit of a stretch.
Wait a minute, Julio. You can't just say that and say this is a thing. The beginning of an Albanian last name.
Yeah, they do
GJ.
G and J.
You are stretching
Okay,
for that
that one's
one.
a reach, but okay, not every single one's accounted for, so that's fine. But if you think about it, so
What's
it's like
IJ?
IJ. Okay, maybe IJ is nothing also, but still, hear me out. So like G. So we did EJ, FJ, GJ, HJ. IJ, fine, is a random one, maybe not. KJ, that's a name people use.
Yeah, I know some KJs.
JJ, how the fuck is JJ something that people also use?
Yeah, it is. It's a big one.
JJ, like, are you serious? Do you think that would be the one? KJ, JK,
Can I tell you something too?
LJ?
I'm having a hard time doing the alphabet.
I know,
With the J.
totally. I know.
It's totally throwing me off.
But so
I'd never done this before.
we're getting through it. LJ, that's a name people use. MJ, name that people use. NJ is a nose job. OJ,
Again, dude, our nose jobs so colloquially referred to as NJs that
many of my friends have said, dude, if she just had an NJ,
she'd be great.
yeah, which is a
That-
fucked up thing to say, but I've heard people say that. I'm sure girls say that.
Why
about
don't
that.
they say an RP, a rhinoplasty?
They might. I'm sure. Maybe they do also say RP, but they do say NJ. I've heard NJ.
Wait, okay, all right, and
Then moving forward, OJ, that's one obviously. PJ, also used.
Mhm.
RJ, OPQ, QJ, I've never heard.
no, nobody's ever said
Q,
QJ.
P, fuck it, this is getting hard. So
RJ, SJ.
So why is SJ not used? I don't
Wait,
understand.
that's the one you have the issue
Yes,
with?
SJ, S is like the number one letter
This
in
is the most
Jeopardy.
Arbitrary point I've ever heard you make. First of all, why is J the second letter?
I don't know.
That you landed on to make this point.
Because there's no other example.
Yes, there are. There
What
are
is-
plenty of like KRs,
Dude, who's
Or-
KR? Who do you know named KR?
CTs.
Who's CT? I've never heard CT in my life.
I knew a kid named KR Jurgalevich.
That's
CT from The Challenge.
Dude, but again, these are not like that common though. CT is not that common. Come on. Unless you're talking about Connecticut. JK, fine, but like
I
there's
know a bunch of JKs.
okay, fine, JKs, but do you know any KKs? You know some KKs.
Okay, so you're saying that J. Okay, now I get your
Yeah.
point. J is the most commonly used second letter
Abbreviation
in names
name.
that are abbreviated or words. Names and words?
Names. But then it's random
Names.
how like a lot of the ones that aren't used actually are used for other things. Not all of them, as we've obviously established.
How did you stumble upon this train of thought?
I don't know.
This is so out of left field.
It's really random. I know.
But it's also, respectfully, full of holes.
It's not that full of holes.
It is a leaking rowboat.
Bro, QJ and IJ are the only two we thought of that we've never heard anybody use. And SJ, which blows my mind that SJ isn't used. And then TJ, and then after that, it's done. And I know you're going to say VJ, but VJ is spelled out VIJAY. It's not VJ.
You really prepped for this.
I thought of that.
You
I was
went
like,
all the way through.
but yeah, W through Z is just off the fucking table.
RJ, we know.
SJ, TJ,
TJ,
and then done.
T,
U,
UJ,
nope. VJ, no.
W,
XJ,
J,
no.
XJ, YJ, ZJ.
ZJ.
ZJ? Is ZJ a thing?
No.
All right, so okay, again, I'm trying to get to the bottom of the logic of your point. So why are you just accepting the write-off of the last 6 letters of the alphabet?
I'm not sure. I'm not accepting it. I'm just stating that it's weird to me that that's the case. Maybe it's because those
But
are...
you had no issue with those ones being, as you put it, done. But SJ pisses you off.
I cannot believe SJ isn't used. S is the most commonly used letter. It might as well be. Like, it's S is in everything. When you play Wheel of Fortune, you always guess
It
S.
sure helps in Scrabble, that's for sure.
Dude, it's the cheapest fucking letter, too.
All right, so then that angers you. So you're basically saying that there should be
An SJ.
a blank J for every letter in the alphabet.
It appears that there almost is, except for a few exceptions. And as you've said, you think it's many exceptions. I just think as far as the alphabet progresses, it's not as surprising to me that the end of the alphabet isn't used. There aren't that many Z names, X names, U names. W is hard to split out.
Let me ask you this.
So WJ is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's ridiculous. Why is the J more often than not John?
I think so.
Now, is that people who are their middle name is John and then they called the kid, Alex John or
yeah, I guess.
AJ or
I guess.
Adam John?
And I find that a lot of those people who do that, they at one point in their life try to like make you not call them that anymore. Like, I'm going by Rob now or something. And then it like never works out and they always end up being RJ again.
Interesting. I don't know. I'm not sure about this one.
You're not on board with this
We're going to
one.
need some AJs and some CJs to weigh in.
If there are any XJs out there, hit us up.
Yeah.
ZJs, let us know what life is like for you.
I think, yeah.
But in the meantime, you got to buy some life insurance.
Life insurance, just in case your name leads to a scuffle and you get killed somehow. It's
Let's hope
important
you
to
don't.
have Policy Genius.
It's really good stuff. I mean, it's a really wonderful place to buy life insurance. You can shop a bunch of different policies, find the one that's right for you. The people who work for the website are trying to find you the best deals. They're not working for the insurance companies. So it's a great way to sort of like be insulated from getting taken advantage of. And they compare over a dozen top insurers. You can save 50% or more on life insurance by comparing all the different quotes. That's a lot. And up to $1,300 or more per year by using Policy Genius.
Yeah. If you're not familiar, by the way, with life insurance in general, it provides a tax-free lump sum of money to your loved ones after your death so you can make sure they're able to pay everyday bills, children's college costs, or final expenses. If you don't have life insurance and you're an adult and you've got loved ones around you, you're not being that responsible. No disrespect, but Policy Genius is the right thing for you to do.
Yeah, they're the leading online insurance marketplace, and their mission is to help people get insurance right. How lovely is that?
That's nice. So head to policygenius.com to get started right now. Policy Genius, when it comes to insurance, it's nice to get it right.
Dude, so I have a couple things that were pretty funny that happened in Chicago that I wanted to discuss with you. One of them, have you ever played the game called Slap Cup?
I have, and I like it.
It's a really fun game.
It's tense.
It's tense. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it's essentially a game where like I don't know. You have to bounce a ball into a cup. If you do that, you can move it over. Whatever. I'm not going to explain the rules of the
Slap
game.
people's cups out of the way.
Exactly.
You can really screw people over, etc.
Right. If you're behind somebody and you bounce your ball in before somebody else does, you can slap their cup. And at the end of the game, if there's no more cups available on the table, you have to chug this entire cup of whatever it is you guys are drinking.
Yeah.
Which can be really fun. But dude, so I played a giant game of slap cup.
Fun.
Must have been like 25 people playing.
Here we go.
It was so much fun.
Whoa.
And something really funny ended up happening, dude, where there was one specific girl who, like, Hillary actually pointed this out, that like people kind of were like giving her a little bit of a golf clap every time she slapped a cup.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned into this thing where every time she slapped a cup, every single person at the table was sort of emphatically golf clapping. And it became hilarious, dude.
Was she not annoyed by it?
No, she thought it was hilarious.
Okay.
This girl named Alexa. And every time she slapped a cup, all 30 people
Wow.
golf clapping.
Well,
And it was
definitely
hilarious.
It definitely puts the skids on the game. I mean, you gotta take a break to do that, but that's good. Good
Yeah.
for Alexa.
It was really funny. We had a good time. And a couple of funny things came up that were discussed that I thought would be very good pod discussion. So this is one of them. Say you're from a town and you went to high school in that town and now you live in the town as an adult. In high school, you had a girlfriend. Okay? Whatever. Everybody grows up and now that girlfriend still lives in the town. You still live in the town. You're married to your respective partners and everything's going well. You find out that your kid has a crush on your ex-girlfriend from high school's kid and wants to like go out with him or something.
Yeah.
And they end up dating. Is there a problem there at all?
No.
No problem at all.
No.
Is it not weird?
No.
What if like you guys were so in love and then you went off to college and it didn't work out, but like there's no scenario where you think that that's weird?
No.
Absolutely not.
Nope.
I keep digging. I'm like, how
I can't believe it.
Dude,
Here, let me tell you why there's nothing weird about that. Is your thought that somehow the connection between the kids is going to rekindle an old flame and complicate
definitely not
life for you?
Definitely not. There's something crazy to me about the idea that I was having sex with somebody in high school and now my kid is having sex with their kid also in high school. That's crazy, dude. Is that not crazy?
But
it's just weird.
It doesn't violate any of the stuff that normally weirds us out. So it's not incestuous.
No.
It's not as if your kid is hooking up with someone you used to hook up with.
No.
And most importantly, enough time has elapsed. Life has carried you both along this crazy journey, which somehow brought you back to where you are, but with new families and new things, and you're in a completely different place where, God help you, you should certainly have forgotten about whatever happened from high school with that person. So your kids are starting with a blank slate.
Fair. Okay. These are all fair things. So the people who I was talking to this about agreed with you. They're like, yeah, why would that be a problem? But then I was kind of like, are you sure it's not just weird? It's just fucking weird. Is it weird for the kids?
Well, only if you tell them. If you told your son, by the way, that
Let's
girl
say that
you like,
Let's say you did.
I used to bang her mom.
I used to date. No,
and
but
you'd be a fucking loser.
You're not bragging about it. It's not. I don't mean it in that way. I mean it like it's so funny. I used to date his mom or whatever.
Maybe
you can say it
maybe they
respectfully.
know that.
Would that be weird for the kids? Would it be weird? Is it just not weird for anybody?
I don't think it's weird for the kids if you say that. Oh, that was my old flame in high school. Because think about this, dude. When your parents told you about, whenever they've referenced old girlfriends or boyfriends from their past, I remember my parents talking about it. It was so many years ago that these people were like shrouded in mists of time. Yeah. They were hard to almost imagine as real people.
No, totally.
All I ever knew was my parents' relationship. And as I grew, the distance between my parents and their past relationships grew.
Right.
And their marriage became the only person that I could ever
think of.
imagine my parents with.
Do you remember any specific anecdotes about the people that your parents dated that weren't your parents?
I do.
There's like one or two that I'll never forget, and that's the only thing that I know.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was I never pictured them as having sort of the same level of love
Of course.
as they did with each other.
Totally, yeah.
So past boyfriends or girlfriends of my parents were always,
Abstract figures.
I hate to say this, pawns on the way
Right.
to the checkmate move.
Right.
You know what I
like
mean?
that. I
Almost
like
like
that metaphor.
lily pads of insignificance that they hopped from. And by the way, those are my words, not my parents' words. And I'm probably wrong. I'm sure my parents had very significant relationships. But in my mind, that's how I compartmentalized it.
Interesting. Dude, I remember my mom telling me she went out with a guy who wore platform shoes because he was short and he was trying to make himself seem taller.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember my dad telling me that he used to date a girl who would, when they would go to like a public event, she would bring a knife just in case. And my dad's whole life, he'd be like, don't go to concerts, people bring knives. And I never knew where he got that from. And it turned out that it was because he like dated this girl and she would bring it. I don't know.
Unreal.
Oh, but dude, what about this? Okay, say your kids are dating. They're dating each other. It's obviously not a big deal. Whatever. No, it's not weird for the parents necessarily. Who knows? But like, to be nice, sometimes your parents will send something back with you to give to their kid's boyfriend's parents, and he gives cookies to your kid, and your kid's like, how do you know my dad likes this? And he's like,
I used to make them for him.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, then you're getting into dangerous territory,
It's
which is
just
a different
fucking weird,
thing. Yeah,
dude.
but that's where you're now saying that one of the people of the past relationship is somehow trying to
Be
rekindle
subversive.
something.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. They're trying to use the kids as conduits to,
Reconnecting.
rebuilding or testing the waters or, breathing life into the deeply, deeply extinguished ashes of a long dead relationship.
Of a very dead relationship.
Yeah.
Well, what if, okay, is it weirder if it's your son and her daughter? Does that make it weirder? Maybe.
Wait, so your ex-girlfriend's got a daughter.
And you have a son, and now they're banging each other in high school.
I hate to say this, but somehow yes. I hate agreeing with
Finally.
you on anything on this point. I wanted to write the whole thing off. I really
Yeah.
wanted this whole thing to be nonsense, but you saying that, so then what my thought is that somehow you're each coaching the kids.
Right.
The mother is going to somehow impart knowledge to her daughter about things that you used to like, with which she can then use with your son.
Right.
Or you might be doing that with your son, like, oh, that's Nancy's daughter. Well, Nancy used to love it when I would
Dude, yeah, it's weird. Or you could commiserate
read
together.
her poems or something.
Dude, yeah, you'd
and
be-
then he's gonna try that. Like
He never texted me back. Could have told you.
yeah, like
know,
father, like son. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Blame it. Yeah, there, exactly. There you go.
It's weird.
Whereas if it's my daughter and her son, I don't think that's happening.
You're right. It's not. Yeah, you're right. It's not as weird. But there's something about it. I would just prefer for it not to be the case, even though I don't give a shit. I would just prefer for it not to be the case.
Chris, what do you think? Was I right to give him an inch on that argument, or was the whole thing nonsense?
I think I agree with you, Francis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a big deal at
Not a
all
big
in
deal.
any way.
Not really.
Do you agree with the last point though, that if it's my son and my ex high school girlfriend's daughter are dating, that somehow there's like a little bit more
It's a little weirder.
manufacturing or positioning that might be going on?
I did
Some sort of parental involvement that calls upon the history.
Yeah. Definitely not as much as you guys are saying, but a little bit, I think.
It's just it's something that's there.
Right.
Yeah, dude, I don't know, man. There's too many like weird similarities because you think back on the time when you were going over her house and you popped into the fridge and you pulled out a Stewart's.
What'd you find?
Stewart's orange cream.
An orange cream soda.
An orange cream
'cause
soda.
She was wealthy, and they were that family that had the glass bottles of the best soda known to man.
And her dad drank the root beer, and
Yeah.
all was good. And then all of a sudden, fast forward, and now she's bringing her kid over. She's dropping her kid off for the night, and now you happen to have some Stewart spiked seltzers in your fridge. And you offer her mom one of those spiked seltzers.
Start reminiscing about the old times. Next thing you know, you're a couple Stewart spiked seltzers deep.
And you're like, I remember your dad used to like the root beer.
Yeah, you've got jokes with each other. You've not forgotten.
You've not forgotten
Yeah.
him. What a nostalgic item.
Yeah.
We highly recommend you pick up some of these Stewart spiked seltzers. They're delicious.
That's it.
They pay homage to the original flavors of the sodas. They have root beer, they have the orange cream flavor, black cherry, and they have a raspberry lime flavor now as well. And they're introducing more flavors in the near future. At the current time, you can only get them in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and Colorado. But at some point in early 2022, you will be able to get them everywhere. And this is a great treat. Honestly, it's a great thing to bring to a party.
Yeah.
People will be like, oh man,
Yeah.
Stewart spiked.
That's it.
They're amazing. 100 calories per can, 0 to 1 grams of sugar per can, 1 gram of carbs, gluten-free, vegan, all the good stuff there. And
Delicious.
It's a light, refreshing, guilt-free treat. And a beverage to enjoy at any function, especially during the nice hot summer.
Right.
You
Nicely
know?
said, Julia. Way to really paint that picture for him. Stewart Spike Seltzer, guys. Get your hands on some now.
That's right. Iconic just got spiked, baby. Get in there. All right, dude, we got a pretty good email.
Oh, boy.
Pretty good stuff here.
Email alert.
This one's called An Early Adolescent Oops. When I was 16 or 17 years old, I worked as a self-proclaimed manny for 2 boys who were around 9 and 11. I'm assuming everybody knows what a manny is, male nanny.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, their parents were
I
divorced.
think we all know about 9 and 11, too. Never forget.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
Their parents were divorced, and the kids lived primarily with their smoking hot mom, who was my employer for the summer.
Oh, boy. I like where this is going.
I'd have to pick the kids up from camp, destroy them in Wii tennis, or bring them to the neighborhood pool where I held court with Jamaican and Polish nannies, my peers. I had no reason for my confidence to be sky high, but I probably watched too many sexually charged high school movies to give it a second thought. One day, the hot mom came home from work, and her kids were at a neighbor's house playing while I was essentially watching over the house. Everything was playing out like in the movies that I had seen. The mom walks in, throws the mail on the counter, and explains how exhausted she is from her long day at work. My 16-year-old brainwaves could only comprehend one thing. Someone's looking for that dick.
Uh-huh.
My nerves start to kick in, but I work up the courage to make a move on this woman. I simply say to her, why don't I draw you a bath?
Oh, it's not terrible.
It takes her a second to kind of piece together what I was doing. And I'm waiting on bated breath, but she just responds, that's quite all right. Here's your money for the day. We'll see you Friday. I felt my entire face turn red, and I was deflated but proud of myself for at least taking a swing.
Yep.
Albeit very awkward, an odd one that put a bath at the forefront. I know G had some experience with older women when he was younger, so I ask, was I wrong? Do you think she found it endearing? Did she tell her friends? And most importantly, did she take a bath after I left? I'm now 32 and I get a good laugh about how much of an idiot I was, so I thought you'd appreciate. He goes, P.S. This really has nothing to do with this particular story, but another time her kids were running around the house and ran into her room lifting up all of her bedding, and there was just a giant purple dildo among the sheets. It looks like someone had a naughty morning before the high schooler Manny came over.
Well, I wonder if that informed his decision to test the waters with the bath question.
I know.
All right, so that's the email, right?
Yes.
All right. So my thought is that is a wonderful, weirdly appropriate way to, in the fewest words possible, almost proposition something but not in a leaving yourself your own dignity on the way out if she says no.
Totally. And dude, the language, should I draw you a bath specifically, as opposed to like, oh, maybe you want to take a bath? Like, shall I draw you a bath? Like, he was putting the moves on her, dude.
Absolutely. There is no muddled
hilarious.
meaning there. There's no other way to take it, right? And if he had said, why don't we take a bath together? That's too much.
Yes, for sure.
That's over the top.
For sure. Dude, insane. Shall I
Instead,
draw you
it's
a bath?
it's almost like a cute,
You're right.
he's so, presumptuous and,
eager little.
good for you for trying almost, but like,
Totally.
yeah.
I wonder, is there a chance that she didn't even realize what he was doing?
No, I don't
You think
think
there's
so.
no chance?
No chance.
Which means she definitely told her friends. And she was probably bragging about it.
As she should.
As she should.
Good for her.
As she should.
Good for her. Man, did I ever tell you the story about the time I made out with my piano teacher?
No.
Yeah. I was, I don't know, I was probably 24, 25 maybe.
And she's older.
I had started taking piano lessons again because I was keen to learn some really challenging classical piano pieces. And I could only do that with the help of a teacher. So I found this woman who was a brilliant pianist and was teaching out of Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
She was Chinese
Mm-hmm.
and did not speak great English. But she had been a concert pianist in China.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go over to her apartment and, once a week. And then I would sort of study by myself at my apartment, practice all week and go and we would work through pieces. But there is something very intimate about sharing a piano bench together as you play classical pieces. And like, she's repositioning my hands. There's like contact, there's hand-to-hand contact. We're the only people in her little apartment. She would make us tea every time.
Oh my God.
And then we would do this. And she would drop. She got bolder and bolder.
Oh my God.
Where
How much older was she?
I think she was in her late 30s and I was
Okay.
like 24, 25. Maybe she was early 40s.
Okay.
She had been married once and divorced.
Okay.
And she started saying things like, I don't even know how to describe it. She would say something, I would say something, tell a story about myself or whatever, and she'd say, "Oh, you're so handsome."
Mm.
Or drop these little things that you could almost write off
Mm-hmm.
to a language barrier, lack of familiarity with English.
Right.
But
Not quite.
really was like too on the nose. You're flirting.
Right.
Come on. And finally one week, she came to my apartment. We had the lesson at my apartment for the first time. And we're sitting at my piano. And my piano bench is like 4 feet wide. I mean, it's tiny. And this was probably the most single that I've ever been in my life,
Mm-hmm.
where you just realize like your guiding principle throughout the day is like, I'm open to anything.
Yeah.
I'm open to anything.
Right.
And I remember we finished a piece. I wasn't particularly attracted to her. I just thought it was like an
Awesome.
amazing story. We started making out. And
At your apartment?
Yeah. And she started like shivering.
Oh my
and I
God.
was like, "Are you okay?" And she goes, "I'm just shocked."
Oh my God.
I was like, "What do you mean?" And she was like, "I never thought you would like me."
Oh my God.
And then I'm like, "Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Does she think I'm her new husband? Like what is the depth
Right.
of this commitment
Oh
now?"
my God.
Because there was such a divide
Yeah.
between our worlds.
Yes.
She's this brilliant classically trained pianist, Chinese national.
So dude, walk me through the kissing moment. You finish a song and then you kind of just like look at each other and then you just
Yeah, but
leaned in?
she had probably given me another moment of like,
like
she you're so
initiated
strong,
a body contact.
saying something about me that was like a
Your
personal,
strong hands.
yeah, sort of, I don't know, making it clear a nice compliment about like my body or the way that I look, which
Right.
is so not a piano note.
Right.
It's nothing to do with what we're doing.
Totally.
So I'm like, all right. And then, you know, I kissed my piano teacher
And that was it?
and we made out for a bit. I think
Did you like move to the bedroom?
I
to the
think
couch?
I was like, do you want to kind of do more or whatever? And she didn't.
Okay.
But she was like overwhelmed
Yeah.
by the fact that this was happening.
Yeah.
I think in her mind, in a million years, this would
Right.
not have happened.
Right.
Even though she admitted she had been wanting it to.
Right.
I just think she thought. I think part of the reason was that whenever she had said these things in the past, I hadn't flirted back.
Oh my God, this is crazy, dude. I love it. I love it.
I hadn't
love
given
it.
her an inch.
I love it.
You know, because I didn't know what world we were
I
living
know.
in. I'm like, I don't know what her expectations of
Right. Just a boundary
courtship
you don't
and
cross.
I don't know if this is a professional thing. And like, also when it's somebody like that in your life, whether it's like a cleaning lady or a teacher or where you're expected to have a continued, you're going to see them again. And there's transaction involved, right? So I would pay her for these piano lessons. The moment you
Yeah.
turn it into some kind of romantic thing, the previous relationship no longer exists. We
Right.
cannot go back to being student, teacher, piano.
Right.
We can't.
Right. So that was the last lesson?
We never saw each other again.
You never messaged her again? You never?
I was not keen to carry on in a romantic way. I felt as though if it were to go any farther, it would be misleading to her.
Mm-hmm.
I could tell from the way that she reacted to that day that there was a lot more on the line for her potentially than for me. And if that sounds arrogant, I apologize.
Maybe not. Yeah.
I think it was like, I'll add, she wasn't particularly attractive.
Okay, all that aside though, but just given the way that this doesn't sound like a person who just like casually makes out with their piano student, thus
Yes.
heightening the level of commitment that you might assume for her, attractive or not, whatever. Like that doesn't.
I think she also had a huge crush on me,
It sounds like
which she had been developing
sounds like
over months.
it was almost like a lust. It was almost like you were her trashy novel.
Exactly. And
You know
all
what
of
I
a
mean?
sudden I jumped
You're
off
this-
the pages and
Yes,
brought her in
yes.
with me.
And now you're this sort of like lust vehicle.
The Lustmobile. Yeah.
That's a good one, dude. That's good stuff. I can't believe I've never heard that.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, it was one of those weird things where I was always kind of ashamed of it. And not because of her, but almost
You feel
because
like you did something dirty.
because after that, she would email me. She like tried to set up more appointments.
You just didn't respond.
Honestly, I just think I said, you know, I don't want you to get the wrong idea. I maybe I lied and said I'm kind of seeing someone right now or whatever, because she started inviting me to like social events,
Got it.
and
Got it.
I
Yeah.
knew.
Okay, so this is important information. You're not being arrogant. She was inviting you on dates.
yeah,
It's not.
and
you
she was
making
inviting me
assumptions.
to like concerts that she was playing in, and then she would say things like, "I'm so lonely. I
Oh,
just really miss you."
no.
And it broke my heart, but I knew that to do any, like, God forbid we had done anything further.
You got to end it there. Yeah.
it would have been that much harder.
You got to end it there.
It was so, I don't
Crazy,
know,
bro.
man. It's something that always has sat kind of weirdly with me. I felt bad,
I'm glad you got it off your chest, dude.
but yeah. Oh, the shit we do when we're young, man. I mean, just like stuff where afterwards you're like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah. You're like, I need a cup of coffee.
Like she left, and I remember being like, oh my God, why did I do that? I knew instantly.
Dude, no, that's awesome that you did that. Bro, that is the best thing I've ever heard. I loved it. It didn't end well, but it never does, pal.
Yeah.
Never does.
Yeah.
But dude, literally after that, I would have sat down, taken a shot of my favorite espresso.
And what's that?
Brooklyn Roasting Company.
Brooklyn Roasting Company. You were trying to walk me into that a second ago. I didn't even pick up on it. You
I
said
gave it right to you.
you need a cup of coffee after that. And I was like, I guess, Julio, that's what I would probably drink. But you can make a wonderful espresso martini with Brooklyn Roasting Company coffee. We absolutely love it. I've made them for you guys.
They're
And we enjoy
delicious.
those. didn't
Dude, the
we?
espresso martini that you whip up, man, is first class.
Thank you.
It's about as good as it gets.
First class is really the way it is over at Brooklyn Roasting. Finest beans, the finest tastes, sourced from all over the world. Guatemala,
You can tell they really care.
Honduras, Brazil, wherever. I mean, those are all just countries in South America, but I think they source from everywhere. Ethiopia, probably. Yeah. Big coffee place, Ethiopia.
Really?
Yeah.
didn't know that.
For sure.
Honduras is a big coffee place?
I'm pretty sure.
Central America, by the way.
Yeah. That's okay. Okay. All right. I'm getting all geographic on me here. Hey.
Regardless.
Brooklyn Roasting. We absolutely love the coffee. They've got the coffee peanut butter back in stock.
Back in action.
Go to brooklynroasting.com. Use promo code OOPSBEANS. You'll get 5% off your order. Also join their Coffee of the Month subscription club. Trust me, you will go through it like it's butter. This coffee is too legit to quit. brooklynroasting.com. OOPSBEANS. Get there today.
Well, dude, so somebody else emailed us, and I thought that this would be an interesting thing to talk about with you, since the idea of engagement is on your radar
Oh.
in some capacity. We don't know how vast the net of your radar is,
Yeah.
how far out it can detect.
We don't know if
certain
it's
things.
a submarine radar that's
We don't know.
catching blips from warships in different seas
Yeah, exactly.
halfway around the world,
Yeah,
or
we don't know.
if this is some janky old speed radar gun from some cop in some hillbilly town,
We do not
only
know.
picking up the speeds of passing cars passing 10 feet in front of his
Correct.
face.
It is unclear.
Yeah.
However, this seemed to me like valuable insight.
Okay.
It's called proposal insight.
Yeah.
So here we go. Hey guys, huge fan of the pod. Love the topics. I couldn't resist giving you a woman's insight to proposal matters. I would like to preface this that I am 39 years old, married, and have been in 18 wedding parties in my lifetime, and have been a guest at countless weddings. Francis, it seems like you've met your match.
I guess so.
First,
First, not envious. That's just so much money.
It's a lot of
18
weddings.
wedding parties.
A lot of money, a lot
Tens
of
of
weddings.
thousands of dollars.
Lots of cash.
Yeah.
Cough it up. All right. First, I would like to tell you that although you may have a plan, dude, I find this fascinating. Although you may have a planned speech and bullet points that you would like to tell her in your proposal, your soon-to-be bride will most likely not remember anything you say once the ring is pulled out or she realizes what is happening. Literally, almost 85% of my girlfriends black out and cannot recall the words that are coming out of their now husband's mouth once you drop on a knee.
Oh my God.
How crazy is that? That makes sense.
It's like you're chloroforming them or something.
All they are thinking is, oh my God, is this happening? Is he joking? Is he for real? Or something along those lines. 85% also seem very specific, but it sounds like she knows specific details with the 18 wedding parties, et cetera. So, dude,
it's bonkers. Like all this time, predators were going to the lengths of getting Rufalin, and all they had to do was propose to do their fucking horrible misdeeds. Anyway,
all they needed was roofies.
Yeah,
dude, that is fucking
not so sure about that
hilarious.
joke, but we'll see.
No, dude,
See how we feel
that's a
about
good
that
one.
tomorrow.
I feel good about that one. That's funny. Okay, lastly, the number one most important thing is for it to be a surprise and catch her off guard. Anytime a woman tells their proposal story and they saw it coming the whole time, it sucks.
Huh.
Even if your girl says she doesn't like surprises, this does not apply here. There's a sense of you truly knowing what your partner would want in a ring and a proposal that really hits home with most females. I have a recent girlfriend who helped pick out the ring, knew where he hid it, and knew it was coming the whole time, and it just took away her excitement about the whole thing.
Wow.
The proposal doesn't have to be over the top. It just has to be when she least expects it. My husband and I were together for 10 years before he popped the question on a trip with another couple to San Francisco, and it literally never crossed my mind that it was going to happen. He kept it between 3 friends, 1 of mine, 2 of his, so he didn't worry about it somehow getting leaked. I was shocked and still have no recollection of the words that he said as he pulled out the ring. Wish you all the best, and I know you guys will nail it whenever it is the right time for your lucky ladies. Hope this helps. You guys are awesome.
Can I say this? It doesn't help.
Why? I found that unbelievably
Here's
helpful.
why it doesn't help. It further adds to this idea that the proposal is not up to you. That first of all, that number two, there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. And that if you get it wrong, it's bad. You're still proposing. You're still spending thousands of dollars.
Fine.
You're still committing to a life with someone.
But this is where I don't agree. Don't you want her to be happy? The whole point of it is to make her excited. That's a large part of it.
But I do. But let's say that, you managed to pull it off 99% of the way.
I think that's
And
enough.
you do maintain this element of surprise, and you do get her the ring that she wants, and you do say the right things, but not overdo it, and you play. She's gonna forget, so you just do it quickly or whatever, and all of that. But somehow, the place you've chosen is near a basketball court, which conjures a sad memory for her of the time that she was playing one-on-one with a friend of hers who broke her ankle, and then it got infected and that girl died. And then all of a sudden, that's the only thing she's thinking about. She's like, man, the proposal was great, but I just wish he'd been a little more sensitive to old Sally's terrible death-inducing ankle injury.
Dude, you would know about that in that story.
I might
About
not
old
put
Sally.
all of that stuff together because I'm thinking about all 400 million other points I got to remember. And the old hardcore horror has slipped my mind that day. I forgot that those chain nets under the rims were once used as some kind of arm restricting device for the kidnapping that took place in her childhood, whatever, you know what I mean? Some windowless van came up and used chain nets to ransom her. I don't know.
I mean, dude, I will say that I think I talked about this once. I gave a lesson to a lady once, and she broke her ankle during the lesson, and I'll never forget about it. So
Yeah.
if somehow, I don't know. I guess I hear you.
That's what I'm saying.
But dude, listen, the stakes are high for a reason. If you knock it out of the park, it's such a gratifying experience. We strive to make this a pleasurable experience for our ladies. And since we're in control of it, it's the thing we should strive to do, dude.
I don't feel in control of it.
You
feel
get to decide when
I
it's
feel
happening.
like a passenger. I feel like someone who's just almost like delivering lines. I'm a Sherpa delivering a package. I'm a bike messenger without a bicycle.
Oh my God.
No?
Dude. No. I mean, I don't know. That's your
There's a protocol. There is a set of instructions that one is meant to follow. And if one does not,
what's the problem with
they've
that?
done it wrong.
Listen, if you can do it better, bless your heart, go for it. But if you can't, there's nothing wrong with sticking to the tried and true. Make it a special day for your lady.
But we are people who endeavor to deviate from the norm at all. That's who I am.
And there's still a way to put your personal spin on it for sure. And you'll find it, I'm sure. I look forward to the day
I'm too afraid.
So you're just never going to do it?
I'm too afraid that the choices I would make, the swings I would take, would sour it. And then that's all you get. You only get one crack.
That's true. You only get one shot.
And I don't want to be the guy who, when people ask the engagement story, because people always ask that stupid fucking question, how did it happen?
Well, listen, dude, if you fuck up,
I don't want
it'll
to be
be
the
funny.
I don't
want to
be
story.
the goose in
It's
that
okay,
story.
but dude, listen. No matter what happens, it's not going to ruin the outcome. If you fuck up, you guys will be able to joke about it. If you do it great, she'll be able to look back on it fondly. If you do okay, that'll be good enough. I mean, I don't think you have to be so like terrified of this. You're so scared of proposing.
You know,
Oh my God.
it may sound that way. Again, this is more of my resentment of the pomp and circumstance and the industry that has
Right.
erupted around this whole thing.
And I actually get that. That is
This
true.
silly song and dance, the steps.
That happens to just fuck us over.
I have one other story for you.
Okay.
So I met someone recently who had come from a proposal, not hers, but a friend of hers, and she knew that the proposal was going to happen, and so the guy had like gathered these friends to sort of bear witness, or maybe he was going to propose, and then everyone was going to come in and hug and be there for it. Which, by the way, do you believe in that?
I potentially do. Again, I think it's what
Do
my
you want-
girlfriend wants.
You want everyone around.
I think it could. I don't know if I want them to witness the moment, but it would be fun if they popped out when it was over.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
I don't hate it. No.
All right, so she had been summoned to do this by the guy and knew that it was happening. And then the morning of, he lost the ring
Holy shit. Holy shit.
and did not insure it
Holy shit.
because he hadn't given it to her. And I think his plan was like, I'll insure it once I give it to her.
Oh my
which-
god.
Have I not
You never
told the
us.
story?
That seems like a reasonable line
So
of thinking, I guess.
I have a piece of advice, obviously, for any men out there.
Insure that
insure the
shit.
ring the second you get it, for sure. Because I have another friend who lost the ring after he'd given it to his fiance, and it was insured, and they got the whole thing back, dude.
Holy shit.
It's that simple.
Holy shit.
You don't have to like make something up. The ring's gone. Something happened.
Replace it immediately.
Here's your the money for it.
Wow.
Get
dude.
another one.
Holy fuck. That is
Period,
a
amen.
good piece of advice.
Pay like $300 a year. I don't even know what the hell it is. So the peace of mind for that is invaluable. So this other guy loses the ring, right? They're in their hotel room and he's like turning everything upside down, freaking out. And the girl's in there like, what's happening? And he throws his hands up in the air and he says, I was going to give you a ring today and I lost it.
Holy shit.
And to her credit, she was super cool. She was like, all right, let's retrace our steps.
my God.
Like, blah, blah, blah. Go to try to find it. They ended up putting out like Facebook posts or something.
They're just nailing it on telephone poles.
Yeah.
Missing ring.
It was like the digital version of that.
Oh my god.
Being like, I think somehow he had a picture of the ring. He like put it up. And I think a week later, they got a hit from this barber shop where someone had, I guess he'd gotten his hair cut that
Oh
day
my
and had
God,
fallen out of his
dude.
pocket. And someone had found it and did not want to turn it into the police station. They didn't know what to do, but they saw the post. They were like, I've got the ring. And they went down as a couple to the barber shop and he proposed to her there.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
And everyone went nuts.
That's amazing.
It's not a bad story.
That's great.
It's not a bad
That's as good as it
outcome.
gets, dude.
Come on.
That's as good as it gets.
Which makes me think that all that other bullshit is bullshit. Because to me, that's the most romantic
Yeah.
story of all time.
So just make sure you fuck it up as bad as you can. And then you'll have the killer story.
How
dude.
great is that story?
That is a really good one.
That's a great story. Better than the swan came by and then tipped its wing out, upon which was the perfect ring.
Chris popped out with a shoulder camera
Yeah.
and a rig.
And a harpist and a cellist instantly strung up their instruments. I don't know. I that's my counter story, and I think it speaks to hopefully that there's a little more wiggle room in the ceremony than people allow for.
Very solid, dude.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's Oops the Podcast, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us as always. We will be here next week, as ever. I'm Francis. He's Julio. Send us your funny engagement stories to oopsthepodcast@gmail.com. Check out Julio's unbelievable travel series.
Thank you.
What are we calling it?
I don't really know. I guess I'm really bad at naming stuff. I need to start being better about
Got
that.
it. Well,
Sort of the video manifestation of Pack Light.
he'll be there.
You'll see it.
That's on his Instagram, not Julio.
And I'm going to be at the Miami Improv July 29th through the 31st.
That's awesome. That's Julio. I'm at Helium, Indianapolis July 29th to the 31st myself. Go to francisels.com for tickets to that. And that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.